evening, ladies and gentlemen. Could you all see the mirror?
Yes, sir.
How am I looking? No answers. How am I looking?
Good actually.
Why do I need this validation? Why do all of us need this validation? Because we all know what we are is more than what we see, right? What we truly are is inside us, not outside us. Still, all of us seem to need that validation. This evening we have with us Ms. Naina Sharma, a licensed clinical psychologist practicing with romance. She will help us to redefine beauty standards and mental health perspectives. Ms. Sharma has been helping young adults and adults dealing with depression, anxiety, personality disorders, OCD, body image issues, addiction, and relationship difficulties. She has also worked with Indian Medical Association during the COVID pandemic to provide mental health services to healthcare providers. Ms. Sharma has delivered multiple talks here at IHC on various topics related to positive psychology. A certified mountaineer, trained from the reputed Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, she has drawn examples from her experiences during climbs and close observations in the nature to throw light on today's topic. As we begin today's talk by Ms. Naina Sharma, may I please request you all to put your phones on silent mode and also request you to target that gaze inwards. Let's not, see if we're looking okay, if my dress is proper, how am I looking, is my lipstick in place, are my glasses fine? Let's now look inwards. Our partner for this talk is the Mind Diaries, the first of its kind magazine in India on mental health and well-being. The magazine you were handed over right now talks about body positivity, so do have a look at the magazine. The magazine has been running for a year now and looks at creating awareness towards mental health and normalizes seeking expert help. Besides first-person accounts of fighting back, we have expert columns, inspirational stories, and more. Before we hand over to our expert, we request you to please keep your questions ready for Ms. Sharma. She would be happy to answer all your queries till 8:15. Post that, whatever questions you have, she would be happy to answer through an online interaction on August 16th, 7 p.m., for which the link will be shared with you on the registered mail IDs. Ms. Sharma.
Thank you so much, Prachi, and a very warm good evening to all of you. Well, it's always interesting to be here and have an interesting discussion with all of you. So thank you for being a part of today's discussion and thinking of bringing a change as a community together. Well, today's topic is related to body. So if we look at the literal meaning of body, which means any physical structure or material substance. But let me remind you that along with human body, there are various other bodies which are existing at the same time, like celestial body, which is also known as heavenly bodies, and which includes stars, satellites, planets, comets, galaxies, etc. Then are water bodies and organisms, which includes plants, bacteria, trees, birds, humans, and insects, and many more species. So over generations, all of these species have evolved unique traits, which basically make them distinct from other. And different bodies are existing and functioning at the same time without taking pride or shame in that. They are just exercising their capacity with the flow very naturally. But interestingly, the skull of modern humans, which is generally larger and different in shape than our earlier ancestors, it has evolved with advanced cognitive functions like planning, comparing, analyzing, experimenting, and so on. And this suggests that the modern brain is less of a fixed shape and can be influenced over its lifetime by environmental and various genetic factors, and this is an established concept which is known as plasticity. Now, if we talk about the capacity of this complex and fascinating human brain, then it ranges from coming up with great innovations and experiments like Chandrayaan 3, artificial intelligence, to developing different viruses. From ruling and manipulating the world to asking for validations and favors like a beggar. From feeling powerful and special about self to feeling worthless, from distorting the fact and truth to accepting the reality. So this is how human brain is existing in different capacities. Now, I would like to request all of you that please utilize a plain sheet of paper that is being given to you and use sketch pens also, and draw a popular princess or prince character from commonly seen or heard fairy tale or mythological story. And I don't want you to focus on what that character is wearing. Instead, focus on how that character looks like. I mean, I want you to focus on specific features, like body features, facial features. So I know I'm asking for a lot, but it could be a fruitful exercise. No, I'm not going to sit. I'm just going to observe.
No cheating.
Okay, no. You can use it. That's completely all right.
Okay, I thought imagination.
No, I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to do an inspection. It's okay. You can do it. Barbie's fever. I'm very well aware of your drawing, but not aware of Prachi's drawing. You should also do it. I know what she will be able to do. I'm aware of that. So now I want all of you to see that what are the similarities these pictures are sharing. The way characters are standing, what kind of hair, body structure, body shape, eyes, lips, They are similar? They are similar in shape, size, hair, length of hair, eyes. Hmm? Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, all of you could come up with a specific kind of figure, except few, and all of these figures are sharing similarities. So that means that collectively you are having a perception which is being shared by all of you. So any of you, if you can answer that where is this learning, where is this understanding coming from, that a girl or a boy should look like this or looks like this. Where is it coming from?
Media, artwork,
Society, the stories that we got
Hmm.
in childhood,
Hmm.
Barbies.
True that. I mean, everywhere we see, whether it's fashion magazine, uh, screen movies, and television, everywhere there are people who are constantly giving us a message that and defining that what is beautiful. It is existing and it is having a powerful effect. But there is one problem. There is one problem that whatever message they are trying to convey, it is actually very different from how things are existing in the reality. And they are not focusing on what it means to be and live within a human body and thrive as a human body. So, if I talk about body image, I mean, we'll have discussion about image later on. But generally, body image has two components. One is perceptual component, and another is attitude-related component. Perceptual means that the concept of body that we are having in our mind, that is concept. And attitudinal meaning has to do with how we are feeling about our body in relation to other people around us. How we are experiencing our bodies in different environments. And if any other person says or comments anything about related to our body, then how much value we give to those comments and suggestions. So, in order to understand that how the development of body image is happening, I mean, it is not happening at an adult age, it is happening much earlier than that. I mean, majority of the changes, these factors which starts affecting, it starts from childhood, but exist in a salient manner at an adolescent age. So there are different factors like cultural socialization. Like I asked you that draw a character from your commonly seen or heard stories. So there is an established concept of ideal body that is existing in our society, and it is being propagated in many ways through stories, through media, through channels. And then our own interpersonal experiences, our own observation of other people, our own observation of how people are getting rewarded and people are getting punished at social level in many ways. Then the kind of feedback we get, and whether there is appearance related teasing or not. Then our own physical characteristics and changes. Let's say whatever is established as an ideal at cultural level, if our own physical characteristics are very different from that, so that can also play an important role. Then there are personality traits, like not everyone is affected by everything that is being propagated. Like many of you came up with different kind of drawings. So there are few traits which exist at psychological level, like traits of risk, resilience, and there are people which are, I mean, they are existing with this perfectionism trait. So all these things have an impact. And then along with that, different situations and experiences that a person is gathering. And if bullying is happening in the school, teasing is happening at different levels, or if there is any traumatic event, that also has an important role to play. Then how our perception is turning into a schema, and how we are processing it, what kind of emotions we are attaching to it, how we are dealing with it, and how we are dealing with it at thought level, at emotional level. So collectively, all of these things leads to body image perceptions and attitudes. So today we'll be understanding body image as per these specific age groups, which is adolescents from 10 to 18 years, then young adults 18 to 25, adults 26 to 44, and middle age from 45 to 59. So like I said, that in every culture, there is an established concept related to what is ideal body and what is considered as beautiful. So in majority of the cultures, in girls, thinness is being given the highest value, and in males, masculinity and and its related features are being given value. So recent research reveals wide variation in the prevalence of body image dissatisfaction among adolescents. And when it comes to documentation of such kind of issues and cases, it is definitely increasingly documented. But there are some subcultural body image norms also. For example, there are cultures where frequent food shortage is there. So in such cultures, having a heavy or obese type of body is being seen as something that you are coming from prosperity, and you have enough resources to eat well. Now, puberty. Puberty is the significant phase in which this body image plays an important role. So, and specifically in terms of physical development, I mean the extensive physical development happens at this stage as compared to any other stage throughout our lifespan. We go through tremendous physical changes, hormonal changes at this stage. So when girls attain puberty, there is a significant amount of weight gain during that time, and which is also accompanied by weight gain. And from there, body dissatisfaction starts coming in, and it has been seen with many girls. Definitely not with all of them, but many. So here, with regards to puberty, timing is also important. There are girls, they attain puberty earlier than their peers, and they start experiencing all those changes earlier than other people. So that is also significant. Now there is one change which has to do with girls' breast development and height gain as well, which is, I mean, this is something that is positively associated with body image, because the image that is being established in our culture, girls starts thinking that they are going near towards that picture, and they start understanding that now from girls they are having all those features and characteristics that might make them beautiful. Now when it comes to boys, so puberty may present a risk factor for some, because boys wants, I mean at this stage, boys wants to be like their father, I mean in terms of different roles and different things they do as a man. So there is this desire to be larger, more muscular, and more developed than they perceive themselves to be. And this is the age where boys start getting into different things like joining gym, weightlifting, taking food supplements, or you must have heard that there are different options available for increasing height and gaining more muscle power. So this is the age when adolescence starts getting into such things. Uh, it has been seen as per researchers that post-pubertal boys, they tend to have higher body satisfaction than do boys who are still in the process of gaining puberty or before puberty. However, early puberty and the ultimate result of puberty appears to be favorable to most boys, which is completely opposite to what happens with girls. Now, there are different factors. Like I said, that there are different factors which shapes our perception and attitude towards our own body. So one is disfigurement. So it could be there at the time of birth, it could be congenital, or it could be acquired later in life because of any traumatic accident, like amputation can happen, or any other scar or injury can happen. So basically, if it is a visible disfigurement, then it can have a profound psychological impact upon the individual concerned. And disfigurement is basically something, which is a state in which one's appearance is deeply and persistently harmed medically. So here, I have someone's experiences that I would like to share with all of you. One of my patient, she's very courageous, and she actually wanted to come and experience and share her experiences with all of you. But somehow she could not come because of some reasons. But she wanted to share her experiences, and she had shared her write-up with me. So I'm going to read it on her behalf. And I want you to understand that if any kind of disfigurement exists or occurs to a person, especially at a vulnerable age, such as adolescent, then what kind of impact it can have. So I will be reading it on her behalf. She is, it's a story of 20 years old female, which is currently taking treatment, psychiatry and psychological treatment. I'm not comfortable sharing other details related to her except what she has shared with me. For the longest time, I had major concerns related to my weight, wherein I saw myself somewhat out of the girlhood that we are taught to inhibit, because I was always believed to be that one big-sized girl until every boy in school averted from. I continued to hate my body until I entered my teens. Things changed drastically when I entered my teenage. Not that I stopped hating my body, but I started turning away from my body for a whole another reason, which I could barely tell anybody about, unlike the weight-related insecurities. My body was changing, my breasts started growing, and it was not usual. I started noticing a size difference, which put me blind to my body. I rarely looked at myself without sports bra, and I had no idea of what exactly was the deal with the unequal growth. I could never change in front of my friends in the locker room. I started stuffing the other side of the breast with clothes to make it look equal. I rarely took my bra off because without a bra, there would be a noticeable and apparent asymmetry. I kept it all inside of me till I was 16. At 16, I started dating, and I realized that I could never let my partner touch me even if I wanted to. I was held in a grip of a crippling fear of them finding out that I did not have a normal body. It was then when I decided to share it with my mother. When I opened up in front of my mother and showed her my body, she was shocked to see the amount of difference. We visited different doctors and were finally sent to a great doctor in Vasant Kunj in a reputed hospital. I was found out to have a complete lack of breast tissue on the right side. It is a rare condition. It does not make the body dysfunctional, but simply keeps the right side from growing because there is no tissue to make it grow. I was advised to get 3 plastic surgeries done, basically fat transfer liposuction, on the right side to make it look even. I'm done with the first surgery wherein fat was cut out from my thighs and stomach and injected on the right side. It was extremely painful. I was bedridden for a month. I'm yet to undergo the other 2 surgeries. It's still a substantial amount of difference there, which I cover up with extra pads in the bra. I'm still unable to get physical with my partner. There are times when my pad changes its shape, shifting a little, which gives a bulging out of place look that everybody can notice. I have to be cautious all the time. Whenever I go to the gym and lay for any exercise, the right side stays stiff while the left side spreads the fat in gravity. Hence, I rarely go to the gym and I don't do any kind of physical exercise. I played sports as a kid, I don't anymore, because when I run, the left side bounces while the right side stays stiff. I don't go to the swimming pool for the same reason. I have to wear my bra 24/7 to keep the right side intact. I avoid hugging people because they can feel my right stiffened side. I hate to look in the mirror when I take a bath. I don't remember the last time I looked at myself bare and naked. I feel almost unnatural at times. It's a bit difficult for me to sleep on my right side because it's hard and pushed my chest inwards. I don't wear tight clothes. When she shared this write up, she also said that somehow I could not come up with any ending, with a clear ending. I mean, it was mixed kind of emotions that I was experiencing while coming to the end part. So, I mean, disfigurement, amputation, if it happens at any age, it definitely impacts person's psychological health, self-esteem, and well-being. But specifically, when such kind of situations exist at a vulnerable age like adolescent, then it has its own impact, deep impacts. Then there are skin diseases that can also terribly impact quality of life, self-esteem, body image, relationships, hobbies, and career aspirations. And if there is any dermatological disorder which is existing at that time, so it impairs tactile communication, bodily interaction, and sexual relations. One of my patient, she also started coming to me at the age of 18. But and she basically came up with issues like social anxiety and interpersonal relationship issues. So when we discovered and as sessions went by, so she disclosed that at the age of 11, she developed vitiligo in her near her genital part. So vitiligo is basically skin discoloration and presence of white patches. And her mother would take her to different doctors and she would be asked to show her genital part. And when different doctors could not come up with any successful treatment. So I mean, this kept happening for years, and throughout all these years, she understood that maybe there is something really, really wrong with me, that I have to go through all such things, and whatever people are trying, it is not working for me. And because of her mother's anxious affect, she also felt that there is something really wrong, that I'm troubling my parents. I'm not normal, and the way I'm existing, it is not it is not the way the other people are existing. Because of that, she started developing anxiety issues. She could not make any close friends, and definitely it had an impact on her studies as well. Only when she grew up and she realized that there are some issues that requires attention. Then she started seeking mental health professional help. Then another is identity. Uh, Identity development, it is a salient feature, it is a salient transition that happens particularly at an adolescent stage. So identity includes and can come from different spheres of life, like academic competence, popularity, social acceptance, romantic appeal, and physical appearance. When it comes to physical appearance, with most of the adolescents, physical appearance it contributes significantly to their overall sense of self and their identity development. Then family relationships. We understood that how a particular learning and understanding is existing at a cultural level. Now, how it is being transferred to us? It is being transferred to us first from the family, then our school environment, our interaction with peers, and our interaction with different elements existing in the society. Uh, when we talk of adolescence, so specifically at this age, there is a distance that parents experience with their adolescents. So, and which leads to more conflicts on and disagreements on different terms. While this is happening, there is also a need of high emotional connectedness that adolescents experience. So we cannot say that if any adolescent is fighting and arguing with their parent or family members, it does not mean that they are emotionally distancing themselves. In fact, they start looking for it even more as compared to any other age. Now, families in which already some dysfunction is existing, and when it comes to expression, there is low level of expressed warmth and emotional support. It leads to the development of adolescents who are insecure and more worried about their appearance as compared to adolescents who are coming from warm, friendly, and secure environment. Now, as I said, that this development of body image is not, I mean, it is happening in a particular amount at adolescent stage, but it starts in the childhood as well. So this influence begins prior to adolescence, but it becomes more salient to adolescents as their bodies undergo puberty. Now, when we talk of kids and adolescents, so they learn more than by observing. They learn more by witnessing things around them instead of listening what their parents or other people are saying. So if they are witnessing their parents not being satisfied with their own body, passing critical comments to their own body, so that is what they start adopting, they start learning such patterns. Like if parents are on a special diet and very particular about their muscle index, calories index, and constantly complaining about their appearance, then it has an impact on adolescents' attitudes and behaviors. And there are researchers, and they have established that when parents convey neutral and positive body image messages, adolescents are found to report feeling more positively about their bodies. Now, peer relationships. When I mention that adolescents starts withdrawing from their family members, it means they seek for relatability. They seek such interactions and people with whom they can relate. So this is the age when they start valuing their friends more than their parents. So what kind of feedback is the kind of feedback that is being shared by friends, that also helps a lot. what their friends are doing, how their friends are considering their body, different things, different experiments that their friends are doing for bringing changes in their body, that works as a feedback. So it has been seen that girls are more likely than boys to compare themselves to same-sex peers and other models in appraising their appearance. And when it comes to boys, there is a tendency to experience perceived pressure more than girls to change their bodies and to become more masculine. So, explicit negative feedback from peers in the form of appearance-related teasing has been found to be particularly detrimental to the development of body image. Now, if appearance-related teasing is happening at that age, so it correlates with self-esteem, body dissatisfaction, and this is the time when they start developing an interest in changing their physical experience and they start doing a lot of things to achieve the same. Whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, but this is the time when adolescence starts getting into romantic relationships also. Like my patient has also shared her experiences that how involvement with her romantic partner impacted her at thought level, at emotional level. So it has been seen that adolescent girls with higher weight statuses have been found to be less likely to report romantic relationship experiences, and there is a sense of romantic competence which is associated with higher weight status than lower weight status. Now, what happens that the kind of feedback, at the same time, the kind of feedback they get from their romantic partners or peers, that plays an important role in understanding their own body. And if there is any kind of dissatisfaction, perceived dissatisfaction or obvious dissatisfaction which exists, so that is how it starts going towards bringing changes and adopting those different methods which are available in our market. And at times this, in many situations, this body dissatisfaction also leads to disordered eating to achieve the same goal. So once in romantic relationships, young men's and women's own body dissatisfaction has been found to be correlated with their perceptions of their romantic partner's satisfaction with their bodies. And it is, the impact is not just limited to disordered eating, it impacts the overall psychological and physical health as well. Then media influences. We all know that different messages that we get through media, how it can negatively influence and impact our impressionable youth, and it may lead to body dissatisfaction, because that is when they start perceiving discrepancy between their real self, the way they are existing, and what is being shown as an ideal to them. So it is these media messages, these are not just limited to girls, even boys do not appear to be immune. There are some video gaming magazines which are promoting some specific features. So boys do adopt such messages, and their perception gets enhanced on the basis of such messages, available messages. It has also been seen that it does not affect each and every individual. There are people who are more concerned, or they value more, they value more their physical appearance. So they, they get affected by such messages even more. So media exposure triggers perceptions of their own bodies as discrepant from the ideal and associated with different consequences like disordered eating. But this internalization of media-related messages, it does not happen in isolation. How peers are perceiving it, how parents are perceiving it, how they are processing and talking about it. I mean, there are different social agents that, when all these different factors comes along, that is how it starts giving a specific picture in the mind. And it has also been seen that the greater use of social networking sites is also related to increased body dissatisfaction and disordered eating. So now let's look at body dissatisfaction and its impact on mental health. So body dissatisfaction in isolation is not a diagnosed, any diagnosed or specific category in our classification. But body dissatisfaction is associated with eating disorders and other pathology which exist at adolescent and young adult age. Like depressed mood, increased suicidal ideation and suicidal attempts in adolescent girls. It has been seen that even after the treatment of depression, even after full recovery from depression, girls with body dissatisfaction are more prone to attempt suicide and get into any kind of harm to self. Negative impacts are not just limited to psychological health, it impacts the overall health, behavior and outcomes, such as increased unhealthy weight control behaviors, stress, smoking behaviors and reduced physical activity. Now, first category is body dysmorphic disorder. So in this, what happens that there is a perceived flaw that a person finds in self, and that is not visible to other people or looks minor as compared to the individual. But that individual has a strong belief that there is something really wrong with that part of appearance, and that makes her or him feel ugly and deformed and unusual. And their whole attention revolves around them, revolves around that specific part of their body. And throughout the time, they keep engaging themselves in behaviors for fixing, for repairing, the same thing. They would visit different doctors, they would not get satisfied, might go for different procedures, different kind of treatments, but still not feel satisfied, and they keep looking and enhancing what they are perceiving as ugly and deformed. And at the same time, there is constant comparison that my specific thing is like this and another person is not having it. So it means that there is something really wrong, and reassurance seeking behavior is also included. Then another is anorexia nervosa, which is basically lack of appetite induced by nervousness. It is established psychiatric disorder. What happens here that there is intense fear of gaining weight along with behaviors that are directed to minimize weight gain or reduce. So whatever is required for that is being done by adolescents and young adults. And one thing needs to be noticed here that they are not curtailing on their eating habits and behaviors because of lack of appetite. They are doing it with a purpose because they don't want to add weight to their body, fat to their body. So lack of appetite is definitely not there in the absence of depression. And this disorder occurs most commonly in adolescent girls and young women. And the undernutrition occurring as a result of the disorder, it further causes endocrine and metabolic changes and overall disturbance of bodily functions. So there are basically two types of anorexia. One is the restricting type, in which there is a need to limit the quantity of food consumed. And another one is binge eating, in which a person would consume food but would experience fear after consuming food. And then there are out of control consumption of, I mean, there are efforts to remove the food from their body through excessive exercise or purging methods like vomiting, laxatives, etc. And this process, this cycle keeps going on, that they would eat and they would feel like throwing it. They would feel like not associating it with their body in any sense. Then another is bulimia nervosa. So here an individual might not be severely underweight as someone with anorexia. So despite sharing the common concern with being fat, individuals with this are of normal weight or even slightly overweight. So what happens in the initial stages of bulimia? That individual typically restricts food from the fear of gaining weight or from the desire of becoming thinner. And over time, they start feeling overwhelming, and there are self-control related breaks down, which results in consuming even high calorie food like chips, junk food available through Zomato, Swiggy, and this happens in a short interval. And when this cycle keeps repeating, it definitely adds to their weight, which again leads to guilt, dissatisfaction, and sadness. And again, that's dissatisfaction and guilt because they are not aware how to deal with such difficult and strange emotions. So they again, like in order to cope, they again get into such practices, and the cycle keeps going on until they decide or someone intervene to help. So after the binge, the person engages in behavior like I have already explained. Then there are common comorbidities with eating disorder, which are not just psychiatric conditions. These are medical conditions also, like renal or cardiac diseases. There are long-term electrolyte and hormonal imbalances in both bulimia and anorexia that require constant medical attention. So, as per researchers, depression is the most common, found in 94% cases, followed by anxiety disorders, which is present as 56%, and then substance abuse in about 22% of cases. Now, there are studies and they have established that with most of the people developing eating disorder, there is some correlation with personality disorder also. And if we go by numbers, then around 70% cases are being reported for witnessing the same. Now, it was all about adolescents and young adults. But these images are not just being limited to a young age. It affects adulthood also. So, as in childhood, the factors associated with body image in adulthood are varied and linked to the degree to which ideas about ideal body types have been internalized. The way adolescents and young adults internalize different messages, adults also do the same for various reasons, for various factors and features related to their body and related to their face. Now, if an individual already felt dissatisfied in their childhood and adolescent and young adult age, so it is more likely to experience dissatisfaction in adulthood also if they have not dealt with such dissatisfaction in their earlier age. So, like we have discussed, that there is internalization of different messages that happens and that leads to body dissatisfaction. In one survey, around 1 in 5 adults said that images used in advertisements and images used on social media that has caused them to worry about their body image. Now, I would like to share one video with you, which was so. So this was a campaign done by a company called Dove, and this video is available on YouTube with the name of Evolution. It is something that has been shared by different models, different individuals who are working in media-related community. If any one of you would like to share your experience related to the same, then we would really appreciate if any one of you. I mean, if you have seen, heard, or witnessed any such thing.
Yeah, as part of the media, since I've been in the media for almost over 35 years, as part of the media, this has been what we have been doing with all the celeb photos that come our way. We fine-tune them to make them look better than what they actually look like in real life. Because this is the perception that people have of beauty.
I would also like to
Yes,
share.
please.
Most of the actors and actresses from the current times in Bollywood, if you look at their appearance without any makeup, or when they are just stepping out of the house to go to the gym or something, then most of the times we cannot recognize them. And once they come on camera, they're completely changed with a lot of makeup and too many people working on them, just like we saw in this video, Evolution. So I think this is the story for most of the actresses and actors in our in the world of movies and acting throughout the world.
Very true. Any other?
Can you please explain this question in Hindi? Actually, I incapable of synchronize.
ओके ठीक है, मैं समझ रही हूँ। अगर आप लोगों में से किसी का भी कोई ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस है जहाँ पर आपको भी नज़र आता है कि जो हमें मीडिया पर दिखाया जाता है, जो हमें स्क्रीन पर दिखाया जाता है, वो रियलिटी से बहुत ही ज़्यादा डिफरेंट है। अगर आपके ऐसे कोई पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं या आपके किसी नोन पर्सन को आपने देखा है इस तरीके से, तो आप लोग अपने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर सकते हैं। Yes, you wanted to share?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So, perception, fakeness on social media, whatever. But there's another perception as well. Don't you think they are also working hard in their profession by every day? This is also their profession to do that. I mean, whenever we talk about film stars, not just movie stars, fashion designer, I think they work very hard. This is their profession. This is a doctor too.
Yes.
And mostly this is our job. They are just doing their job. No?
Yes,
They are earning money, etc. or whatever. So is this our responsibility to take our life forward?
Definitely, that responsibility lies within us because they are doing, like you said, that they are doing their job, and anyone can do any kind of job as per their wish, as per their interest. But we need to have a true perception of that. We need to have the reality within our mind. If that is leading to distorting reality for us, then that responsibility lies to me. If I'm going and watching a movie and I'm getting inspired by a character and I want to have exact kind of looks, and because of that I'm doing n number of things at different levels, then it is me who is perceiving such things and adopting such things. But if I'm going, watching, enjoying, and understanding that yes, it is for entertainment purpose, and understanding the message also. Yes.
So the whole perception about color is very prevalent in our society,
Yes.
and it still remains a crucial aspect for many things. For the purpose of, let's say, marriage or other things, we always have a look at the other, especially North India.
Yeah, even if we look at advertisements that are being posted in newspapers and
Yeah.
different matrimonial sites, so it is clearly evident.
But that is something I just wanted to know as to where does that come from? Like, what is the origin of it? Because in other parts of the country it's not that prevalent, especially the southern side. But over here in North India, it's very prevalent, and it refuses to just go away. It's something which is embedded. So I just wanted to understand from you as to where does it come from,
Yes.
and how can we actually reduce it, and then how we end up.
Well, that can lead to another interesting discussion, but for that we have to look at the time pre-independence and different things that happened. Even different things happened when Britishers came, before Britishers came, and then what happened. So there is a huge discussion that can happen, but let's limit it to today's discussion, and maybe we can address your question in a more detailed and elaborated manner on our Zoom meeting.
Thank you.
Yes.
See, we talked about body disfigurement and a person not feeling comfortable about his own looks. I don't know how many of you remember in Devanand's bill, he had said none of his funeral photographs to be shown to anybody. And even in the funeral, it was his young man's photograph. So that's the way he lived. Was he comfortable with that? We don't know. What is important here is that the question, does the disfigurement fall into a depressive disorder, or does the depressive disorder present as somebody being conscious about his body?
So, thank you for bringing this, sir. And what you have shared in the first part of your suggestion, it has to do with aging anxiety also, that we'll be discussing later, that how people are not comfortable with aging and growth of their physiological existence. But as far as your second concern is there, so disfigurement, there's a difference between disfigurement and body dissatisfaction, which comes from having a different and perfectly healthy body. When we are talking of disfigurement, then amputation is also included. I mean, any part of the body which is being harmed or which is being present in not in a usual manner. Like I shared that case, one of my patients' case. So generally breast development happens in one particular way, but there definitely it is being considered as disfigurement. Or if there is anything that has to do with arms, legs, and we see a difference. So there, if acceptance is not there, if acceptance and different approaches are not there, definitely it might lead to feeling sad, depressed, and overall impact on well-being. But generally it is being seen that first there is body dissatisfaction, and then it is associated with depression. So, like we have already discussed about the impact of peers, partners, and the workplace. The way it can impact any adolescent and young adult, it has an impact on an adult also. The kind of feedback males or females get in a direct or indirect form from their partners, it has an impact on their relationship, their own perceived sense of self, and their sexual life also. The same is associated with colleagues and peers. There is a term which is being introduced as a fact talk. So wherever fact talk exists, it is being correlated with body dissatisfaction in different places. Then, specifically in specifically in adulthood, there comes a choice of becoming pregnant and initiating parenthood. So we all know that it leads to unique changes in body and body image before, during, and after pregnancy also. So in one survey, 41% of women who had been pregnant, they felt more negatively about their body image after pregnancy compared to before they were pregnant. And 12% said that they felt more positively about their body image post-pregnancy. So yes, body dissatisfaction is there, but they also report that they feel an unsaid pressure to adhere to body ideals, and which basically revolves around maintaining weight, maintaining their body shape. Uh, so there is an established association between increased body dissatisfaction postpartum weight, that is after pregnancy, and depressive symptoms during pregnancy or new motherhood. So, there is a complex and mixed kind of emotions that they experience at the same time. That they want to enjoy they enjoy their motherhood, they enjoy being around their newborn, but at the same time, they understand that they are failing to conform to societal standards. Definitely, it does not happen with everyone. I mean, what we are discussing here, we cannot generalize it, but it has been seen in most of the cases. And the level also differs. I mean, for some women, it might disturb them at a great intensity. For some, it could be just a passing thought. So, the way disordered eating can be seen with adolescents and young adults. It can be seen with adults also, but definitely intensity is less, and number of cases, that is also less. But definitely with adults also, it can be associated with psychological distress and depressive symptoms. Now, body image in adulthood may also affect relationships and sexual well-being, and if they have realistic body image can't be realistic, that we'll discuss later on. But if they feel neutral about themselves, then it is associated with having positive experiences. Now, as Sir has mentioned correctly that and on the basis, yes, sir.
This the previous one,
Yeah.
body image in adulthood.
Yes.
One is how it is affecting. I mean, you just added later on affecting me. Suppose I am the concerned person. I have a problem with my body. The other thing which I have now noticed is if I am, let's say, you tend to grow potent and fat when you are, middle age or across. The children start getting affected. And they feel, it's affecting them rather than me. If I'm okay with my image, sometimes you find your kids, they get affected more than me. So I don't know whether you can add that to your...
Yes, definitely. Like I have said before also, that kids learn more from observing and getting different messages from their
They get
environment.
affected, not themselves, but about me. I mean, they say, okay, we're not even going out with you because of your... Start talking in
Okay. Different.
because this I
Yes.
recently noticed,
Uh-huh.
and that you better get square, I do something about it. Or,
Well, sir, this is frequently reported by many parents. But here, I would like to highlight two things. That more than physical appearance. Yes, that also exists in many cases. But more than that, it has to do with relatability. And another has to do with different elements that are existing in the relationship between adolescent or kid and the parent. So it is not just physical appearance. There might be other elements which are impacting the relationship. And then definitely it makes perception towards physical appearance of parents. So as Sir has highlighted that there is a fear, there is an established fear related to aging, related to growing at physiological level. So if we look at it conceptually, be it a plant, tree, there is a transition that happens from plant to tree, or even if you look at any animal. So the moment they start growing, there are changes associated with their physiological self. But there things are happening in a natural manner. No one is judging, analyzing. Even we are not doing that. We are not comparing it. But when it comes to humans, the process happens in the same manner. But the kind of observations we make about it, we make about those changes, starts impairing our peace of mind. So, body changes associated with aging in women shift the female body further away from the thin, young, young ideal social standard of female beauty. And as they age, their bodies experience a shift of body fat distribution towards the torso, and which leads to increased muscle or fat tissues and decreased muscle mass also. Then there are changes in skin coloration, firmness, wrinkles, elasticity. Then hair appearance related changes like graying, thinning, hair loss, and alterations in texture also. Then another is, this is the age when they start witnessing some level of weakening in their physical condition. So there are additional life differences observed in adult women that can affect body image, include pregnancy, reduced time for self-care, and positive health behaviors due to their demands of employment, household obligations, and the level of care they need to provide to their elders or kids. And this is the time, it is not defined and established anywhere. Young adults and adolescents and kids also, they can also face traumatic and heavy stressors in their life. But this is the stage when they go through a lot of changes like retirement, shifting of house, or death of a spouse, death of any family member. So that also leads to adding more stress. Yes, and this is the time that they start observing and understanding that because of their physical changes in their physical condition, it might lead to developing any physical or neurodegenerative disease. And it also makes them aware that yes, it also gives them thoughts of passing away, or they start looking at existence from a different perspective as compared to an adolescent and young adult. So everything that we discussed till now, it was all about what happens with people with regards to their body and dissatisfaction or satisfaction at different age levels. Adolescent, young adults, adults, and then middle-aged adults. We all know that what exactly happens. We are witnessing with our own self. We have witnessed it when we were young. We are witnessing different things around ourselves also. So, in between also, I said that when we are talking of body image, it can't be realistic. the concept of body image also talks about positive body image and negative body image. But in my opinion, be it negative body image or positive body image, it is far away from the reality. Because image can never be real. If I ask you to take a picture and look at it, it will not be exactly the same as you're witnessing with your naked eyes. If I ask you to take a picture of a flower or anything, it will not be the same. Some or other differences will be there. Hmm? So this image that we are imprinting in our brain and that of our own self, it can never be same. So, in my opinion, instead of moving towards positive body image, we can try to focus more on the neutral body image. Just accepting that this whole body is here for its own specific functional purposes, and it is helping us to do different things. I mean, instead of focusing on what impression it is giving to self and others, if we can focus more on its utility approach, then maybe we can be more comfortable in our bodies. So, it's a request that if all of you can acknowledge and accept all that your body can do, the way you are existing in today's world. I mean, there are different kind of aspects of self which are existing along with your physiological body, but without your physical body, you cannot do all those things that you are doing in the present moment. You cannot sit, stand, walk, talk, do various things in your life. So instead of looking at one aspect of yourself, which is physical self, if you look at yourself as a whole person, then maybe we can look at things differently. And like Sir also asked this question, and we'll be discussing it later on for sure. But along with that, there are different revolutions that has happened in last few years. Be it agricultural revolution, technological advancements, and other things that happened at the same time. So we know that we are existing in a capitalist economy. There are different needs that are being created in order to let us know and make us feel that we need those things, we require those things, but in reality, for basic survival, it is not at all essential. So, in an economy like this, definitely needs are being created, products are being created, and people are tapping on insecurities and vulnerability and giving them different options to deal with their vulnerability and insecurity in an addictive manner. I would not say that in a healthy manner, but in an addictive manner. Let's say for our girls, if we take an example of parlors, salon, nail extension. I mean, there are different concepts, there are different new things that we have seen in the last 10 to 20 years. I mean, even if you look at plastic surgery, so in Bollywood, we could rarely see any actor or actresses with such kind of procedures years ago. Yes.
Just like you're saying that,
Yes.
You're living in a capitalist society and basically products are being created. Products are being created not because there is a usage to them, but the usage is being created so that the products sell. And you're talking about plastic surgeries and everything, which is all very true, but I would like to share something that I actually found out a couple of months ago. Something even less basic than plastic surgeries or nail extensions. These are very newer things. but something as basic as hair removal and shaving for
Yes,
women.
yes.
It was created not because women were expected to not have hair,
Yes.
but it was created because Gillette basically came up with men razors and they were not selling. Because of that, they propagated that it's not just men, women also need to shave and women also not need to have hair on their body. And then they came up specially with women razors and those sold way better than the men razors did. So essentially now that it's a norm that women need to be hairless, in fact that is one of the beauty standards as well, that women need to be hairless, which I think is a beauty standard. Also, it tells you a lot about how teenagers are sexualized because, lack of body hair is in teenagers. But yeah, so I mean, it's a very inherent and very a norm that exists everywhere around the world that women need to be hairless, which was not the case before.
True that, and that maybe the Gillette company could notice and could understand that when it comes to women, they are more vulnerable and more associated with body dissatisfaction. That has been established by different researchers also. I mean, definitely these issues are existing with males, but more with body dissatisfaction is associated more with females. So very true, what you and it is not just all one product. Thousands of products are being created in the same manner. Like you're talking about women here now, they are doing the same thing with males also. Like there was a time when shaving of male chest hair was not a concept, not in movies, nowhere. But now, if we look at our youngsters and even people are of our age, then their attraction is getting based on such criteria. There are men, they are not preferring to wear anything under their shirt because they want to flaw what they are doing with their chest. So, it is existing.
It's
Yes.
Hanji.
Hanji.
मेरे को दो बात का डर लगता है। पहला ये कि जैसा मतलब हम लोग सब जानते हैं कि जो आज का जमाना है वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का है। तो क्या है कि जैसे अगर कोई सपोज कोई अपना मतलब प्रोफाइल फोटो लगा रहा है, तो जैसे अगर उसका उससे छेड़खानी करके मतलब लड़के की जो फोटो है वो लड़की की बनाई जा सकती है, लड़की की फोटो लड़के की बना के मतलब उसका मिसयूज किया जा सकता है। तो इससे कैसे एनकाउंटर करें, इससे मतलब कैसे वो मतलब डील करें। और सेकंड वन में मेरी कज़न है फीमेल, वो 13 इयर्स ओल्ड है। उसको क्या है कि स्टडी का काफ़ी स्ट्रेस है और अभी प्राइवेट स्कूल में 13 एज है, जस्ट मतलब प्यूबर्टी एज पे। तो मैं वो काफ़ी मतलब एकदम उसकी जो मसल्स हैं वो देखती हैं, उसमें बिल्कुल भी मतलब वो नहीं है, क्या बोलते हैं मास, क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में नहीं पता, बहुत पतली है। जो भी मतलब आते हैं घर में मतलब उसको एक तरीके से एंजाइटी अपने आप में फील होती हुई वो एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पाती है। मतलब वो जैसे मैं बात करता हूँ तो एक चिड़चिड़ापन रहता है उसमें मतलब। और हर कोई मतलब जो भी उसको देखता है फैमिली में रिलेटिव में हमेशा बोलता है कि बेटा तुम तो मतलब हमारा वेट ले लिया, ये वो मतलब एक तरीके से टॉन्ट मारते हैं। मेरे को वो बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है।
ठीक है, आपके दो क्वेश्चंस थे। पहला क्वेश्चन ये था कि मतलब बहुत सारे टूल्स एंड ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं जिसके वजह से छेड़खानी की जा सकती है आपकी पिक्चर्स और वीडियोस के साथ। ये जो नया ट्रेंड इस्टेब्लिश हुआ है ये सिर्फ फोटोज़ और वीडियोस के साथ ही नहीं है, और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ों के साथ है ना, जैसे आपकी बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स और बाकी चीज़ें। लेकिन मतलब हमें पता है कि ये सब चीज़ें एग्जिस्ट कर रही हैं, दिन प्रतिदिन बढ़ रही हैं, और साथ के साथ हमें जो भी अथॉरिटीज़ हैं, एसोसिएटेड अथॉरिटीज़ हैं, वो हमें अवेयर भी करा रही हैं बहुत सारी चीज़ों से कि कैसे हम इसको रोक सकें। लेकिन जो ये डर है ना, इसके बारे में मैं और जानना चाहूँगी, तो उसके लिए सेपरेटली बात करना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि किस तरीके से डर वहाँ से आ रहा है, किस लेवल का डर है, कितना ज़्यादा डर लग रहा है, कब कब डर लग रहा है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर उसको इंडिविजुअली एड्रेस किया जाए तो बेटर रहेगा, ठीक है। दूसरा कि आपका जो डर एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है और जिस लेवल पर एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है उसको इंडिविजुअली सेपरेटली एड्रेस करना ज़रूरी है, ठीक है। दूसरी सिचुएशन जो आपने बताई, डेफिनेटली जैसे मैंने बोला कि प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पर बहुत सारे चेंजेस आते हैं, फिजियोलॉजिकल चेंजेस आते हैं, और वो चेंजेस ऐसा हो सकता है स्पेशली रिलेटेड टू वेट गेन और वेट लॉस। मतलब अक्सर देखा गया है कि जो बच्चे ज़्यादा वेट गेन हाइट गेन करते हैं, वेट रिडक्शन होता है ना? हाँ एग्जैक्टली। तो लेकिन धीरे धीरे उसमें बदलाव आते हैं, तो वहाँ पर आप ये चीज़ फैमिली मेम्बर्स को समझा सकते हैं कि वो जो भी कमेंट्स और सजेशंस देते हैं वो किस तरीके से बच्चे पर प्रभाव डाल रहा होगा और किस तरीके से उसको लिमिट किया जा सकता है। मैं समझती हूँ कि जो बच्ची है वो थोड़ी सी मतलब बहुत ही कंफर्टेबल महसूस नहीं करते हुए उन सब चीज़ों के बारे में बोलने में, शेयर करने में। हाँ, क्योंकि उसको खुद भी नहीं, शायद हो सकता है कि उसको खुद भी नहीं समझ में आता हो कि एग्जैक्टली क्या उसके अंदर चल रहा है ना। तो जहाँ भी ऐसा लगे, अपॉर्चुनिटी लगे कि वो कुछ शेयर करना चाहती है, मतलब बहुत ही कंफर्टेबल स्पेस प्रोवाइड किया कराया जाए, या फिर अगर आपको लगता है कि प्रॉब्लम्स कंसिस्टेंटली एग्जिस्ट कर रही हैं तो आप प्रोफेशनल हेल्प भी ले सकते हैं। जहाँ पर बच्चे को लगता है कि उसको समझा जा सकता है, वो शेयर कर सकते हैं, तो वहाँ वो ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल होते हैं शेयर करने के लिए, ठीक है। हाँ जी प्लीज। यस,
Matthew spoke about the body positivity. We recently had, like when I was in college, we had this, we researched on the youth. So there was one debate which sparked up during the class that promoting body positivity in fat people is promoting unhealthy behavior. Because अगर कोई obese है तो उसको और भी underlying diseases हो सकती है. So this debate sparked up and there was no conclusion. So how do we make a line between what is a body positivity or what is a body positive behavior and what is promoting unhealthy behavior in terms of body positivity?
see, that's what I said. I mean, when we talk of body positivity, then it can be seen and perceived in different ways by different individuals. That is the reason I realized that instead of focusing on body positivity, we need to focus on neutrality. We need to accept, acknowledge the way things are existing. And once we will start doing it, then we will start figuring out those underlying conditions also. But if our focus has to do only with the ideal, and I mean, if let's say people are telling you that embrace your body and say 10 positive things about your body, yeah. So all these things, and if an individual is not even able to accept their body as it is existing, it is not possible to go towards their side. So it is like we are faking the positivity. So instead of doing that, let's accept the way we are existing. Let's accept limitations of our body, utilization of our body, what it can do, what it cannot do, different conditions associated with body, different, and when that happens, we will be able to understand that body is just existing just like a machine. If we don't do certain things, if we do certain things, then in that condition it can lead to specific results also. So if we have that kind of approach, we will start working towards it. Like instead of utilizing time and energy in worrying about food, calories, and weight, we can actually we can start utilizing that time by including nutrition value food and different physical exercises that is actually required. Like uh, I mean, like a car, that is also a body and it has its own requirement. Good quality petrol, engine oil, and different kind of services from time to time. So, and the reason we are being able to do that because we are not attaching any emotions to it. We are looking at it in a very factual manner. We are understanding that this is a machine and these are its requirements. But do we look at our body that ways? No. I mean, we keep doing n number of things at superficial levels. We spend huge amount of money, huge amount of time in doing all those things, but our focus is not towards those things which are actually required, essential for smooth functioning of our body. So more than management, we can actually start going towards prevention. And at the same time, we also need to realize that behind the perfect bodies that we see on Instagram, as we have already seen in that video, are often associated with their personal trainers, especially planned diets, makeup artists, fashion designers, and Photoshop. So, I mean, you have seen how things are working. Now it's up to you whether you want to incorporate in your understanding and whether you want to look at the real picture or not. So there are different body shapes and types exist at the same time together. But as witnessed through those drawings, there is one typical body shape that most of the people could come up with. And I mean, we can see, like here also I can see different body shapes and sizes. So the way these things are existing in the reality also. So we need to learn to respect every kind of body and understand that ultimately true beauty is not about how you look. It is about how you are as a person and how you make others feel about themselves. The last message, that the truth is you are so much more than how you look. You are unique in every possible way. No one else has your experiences, your passion, your way of living, your smile, your heart and soul. You are you and that is worth celebrating. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this discussion that there are different species, there are different bodies which are existing and they are functioning naturally. No such mental health impact is associated there. Although, we understand that we have brain which is existing in its own capacity, but how we are utilizing the brain, that is totally up to us. The level of control and power the level of power we are giving to our brain, the level of control we are having over our thoughts and our emotions, that is totally up to us. Or whether or there is any situation in which we are deciding to comply with each and every thought, each and every feeling that we get. So before understanding that where those thoughts are coming from, where those feelings are coming from, it would be like we would be doing injustice to ourselves without understanding that how it is being shaped by conditioning, different beliefs, and different kind of agendas. So I hope I hope that this discussion has made any difference at any level, even if 1%, then it serves the purpose. And yes, I would like to suggest one more. I mean, there is one more suggestion that I would like to offer. That when you were entering in the hall, you looked at yourself, you observed yourself in front of the mirror. Now I want all of you to do the same while going back and just observe. Just observe your body, just observe your thoughts, your feelings, and keep it to yourself. If there is any difference that you are noticing, then also ask that where is it coming from. Thank you so much.